Hello guys, Messenger Defi, back once again with some more Solasta Crown the Magister. I am tight for time to try and beat this game before the 25th and still keep it on top of my videos. It's a pain, but it's gotta be done, I'm afraid. I'm overworking myself, I'm not getting that much sleep, it's kind of going a bit awry. So just need to get it done. Okay. So we're here. The question is, what should we do? I think there's a fight here. I just don't quite remember. I had to choose somebody to give the thingy to, if I remember correctly. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. That was really annoying. I got pulled away for a moment. Okay. Right, let's move up.
So, you just, left Kirkuplan without a word.
How rude.
Can we take
Jeez.
this inside?
Just tell us what you decided and stop wasting our time. At least share the inheritance. I need it for my research. The Circle of Danantar will reward you.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. That inheritance will give me enough to get
Circle of
married.
Danantar.
My father-in-law-to-be is very influential in the Tower of Knowledge, you know.
Adria?
I respect Mother's decision. It's all yours.
What? Did the Sorax replace you or something?
Even for you, Drew, that's low.
Ah, so you're all here. Why
Hello
didn't you
there.
come in?
You're right. Let's finish this.
Choose an heir from among the children. See, Adria says she'll split it, right? But if you choose somebody else, she actually starts combat. Which is interesting. I'm going to go with Lyria, though, because I want more reputation with the Circle of
I'll
Danantar.
give Lyria the inheritance.
OMG. Excellent.
But I cannot
by
stand
all the
her.
gods.
Or him.
Well, that's settled then. I will magically seal the will.
Fine. I thought I'd cracked you.
What?
Sorry, sir. This will have to be done outside the law, I'm afraid.
See what I mean? Very deceptive. I know that because back in the day, when I first started playing Solasta, what I ended up doing was checking each of the options. But yeah, the one person we need to focus mainly is Adria, I feel like, because she's a mage, big AoE,
How did I miss?
low AC, but it doesn't really matter if I get terrible bloody thingies. Look at that, boom. Big damage. Okay, you're going to move here. You're going to Rage, Reckless, and Clap. Counter your shield spell. Love counter spell. It's so nice. Suck it. I love it. Okay. Anna, you're going to move here. That works nicely. See, I planned this all out, you see, because I noticed at least 3 went first and D was stood there, so I just move them up. Wall of Ring outer. Now, those have to come in and attack me if they want to kill me. And they're going to burn. Strategy, baby! Look at those skills! Stop! Haha! Burn, baby, burn! How do you like it? Because I love it a lot. Try to throw a attack at us still, though. This one is going to get an attack off, though, I'm afraid. I don't know why my game's being laggy and delayed, though. Appreciate it if it wasn't.
Fight, my friend.
Half. I don't know why we couldn't uncanny dodge the first attack, but oh well. Right, okay. D, what are you gonna do? Shall we, double up on the Ring of Fire? Does that even work?
Evil Felipe.
I think it did work. Are they gonna take double fire damage? I don't know, but hey. Stabby, stabby.
You're just
Damn it.
lucky.
Stabby, stabby. Stick attack, yeah. End turn. I'm not throwing my dagger at you. No way I'm throwing an enchanted item. Just in case anything goes wrong. I can't hit him from here like that, can I? Oh well. Actually, yes I could, because I stopped him there. Oh well. He's gonna burn. Either way. Easy victory. Achievement unlocked.
She
My
killed
tailor
all
is
her
rich.
siblings. Maybe she was a Sorak agent.
Maybe.
They were all my childhood friends.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
That's so
over.
sympathetic.
Let's go.
Okay guys, you've wondered why I just seemed to abruptly end there. That's because basically technology screwed me over. So we're kind of used to this now. Whenever I stream games, there's always something going wrong. When a new release comes out, something will go wrong because life loves to screw me over like that. Well anyway, so I was recording, doing that quest, and boom, black screen. I'm like, what's going on? Why is it black screen on me? I can't do anything, nothing's reacting to me. My PC overheated and restarted itself. So, you know, you think that wouldn't be too bad of a problem. Okay, well, it's just cut off the recording. It's restarted, so no progress has been done, right? Wrong. You know why? Because if you notice up here in the top left corner, there will be me speaking and my mouth not syncing up. Do you want to know why? Because some weird reason when my PC overheated, OBS saw it fit to remove my microphone from it. So now I've got over 2 hours of recording with me saying nothing at all. You know, and I've got a deadline to meet in 4 days. So on the 21st, since it's got the 25th, I've got to beat the game before then, so I can make sure that I'm ready for Palace of Ice DLC. Yeah. Technology just says, screw you, buddy. Like it always flipping does. So, guys, I'd really appreciate it. I have to voice over 2 hours of this footage. I'm probably going to cut some fights out, just for the sake of Speedy Gonzalez, and not having to voice over so much. Calm you shall be and carry on you must, as my shirt says. I will try to be, and I will voice over this thing. Can I get a like to ease my suffering a little bit? I'd really appreciate it. Thank you very much, guys. Let's get on with the video. Up here, you'll notice that my voice just sounds completely out of sync, and there's nothing I can do about it, because some technology just loves to fuck me over. Okay, so as you can see by the top right corner, there's no audio, like I said, because the mic was just not on, because, you know, OBS decided to disconnect it without my permission, and yeah, so I redid the fight. It went better than last time, thankfully, just mostly because of the fact that I was pretty much able to get a crit right away on the mage lady with Wilma. With 2 shots, she went down. And the rest of them basically cleaned up using the same strategy as last time, which was, you know, a fun time. I wanted to make sure that I got the
She
cutscene
killed
on
all her
screen, 'cause
siblings.
It cut that part
Maybe
out.
she was a Sorak agent.
They were all my childhood friends.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
It's over. Let's go.
She sounds so sympathetic towards, what is it, empathetic to Big D there. Oh, sorry. That, you know, sounds proper sad for him, you know. So, we took on those, went inside of this building. I was looking around for extra loot, but sadly was just unable to find it, but it was what it was. We went inside because this would basically allow us to get some extra loot once we found the hidden passageway inside. Now, with that inheritance quest, I love doing it that way because I get a combat encounter. And I thought I got reputation by picking one of them, Spoilers, you don't. You get no reputation. You just get a fight. So, we won the fight anyway, but still, that's not the point. It would have been nice. Eventually, I found the secret passageway, and we got the secret loot inside, which was quite nice, to be fair. You know, when we was able to easily pick it with fuse tools. We got some reputation items, which is great, and a load of cash, which is also great. You know, can't really complain. Here I was checking to see if I got any reputation with the faction for picking one of them, because the guy said that he was very reputable with the circular Denantar. But we got no reputation at all for picking them, which is a bit sucky, really, because, you know, that was the arguments they both made. I probably should have read her journal, but I didn't. I think that's mostly because of the fact that I just couldn't be bothered, because I wanted to know why the quest just suddenly ends if you allow Adria to get the inheritance, instead of fighting her and killing her because you chose somebody else or yourself. Well, you know, that's hindsight for you. Never learn when you really need it, and it's unfortunate, but it's just the way it is. So, I decided to carry on and get on with some other side quests. Basically, this episode was me getting a bunch of the side content out of the way. I've not gotten all of it by the end of this video, as you'll see, but all the stuff that doesn't involve a city location to do, at least. So, I head back to Cataclysm, because, you know, why not? I decided that it was time to head back. And I think, I don't quite remember what I did, thanks to my horrible memory, of course. But I'm pretty sure I went back and did some questing or sorted out some loot or something here. I guess we'll find out. I'll be able to narrate it on the way. This is, you know, great. Just completely ruins the experience of the playthrough, where you just have this just suddenly, you know, dropped upon you and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm sorry, guys. But, you know, technology loves fucking me over, life loves fucking me over all the time. Everything's always going wrong. Anything to keep me from being successful on YouTube, you know. Anything to stop me from being a good YouTuber. You know, I've been trying, I've been working hard, but it doesn't matter. Ah, I remember. I went here because there was a quest I wanted to do, which is to break into the embassy. Now, you can choose to help if you save Dahlia, you can choose to use them in this quest.
Greetings, colleague.
Now,
I'm not your colleague, Daliat. You know that.
Oh, sure. What can I do for you?
You know Lord Belmont?
Ambassador Belmont? Of course.
We have something on Belmont that you might like. Not flattering.
Nice. What's the catch?
I need you to release it right away.
Right now? No long-term leverage?
That's right.
I'll need you to do something for me, then.
I'm listening.
Some former colleagues are running an operation from a base nearby. I need them dead.
We're not murderers.
They're traitors to the Silent Whisper. Ruthless bastards, too.
Enough to die, just like that?
Your choice. Do this for me, and I'll take care of the Belmont thing.
Fair enough.
now you can just go and do this combat encounter and he'll take care of it for you. But if you want some extra experience and loot, you can choose to do the quest yourself, then go to the location it asks you to go to kill the enemies, kill them, and you know, you get some extra stuff from it from doing that. That's what I decided to do. So if you move over to the Gravekeep's cask to the left of it, basically you get the option to go into a sewer grate to sneak inside. The problem is all my characters aren't stealthy because this guy's wearing heavy armor after I got some heavy armor for Fana. So I had to remove that, otherwise this mission would basically be near impossible with the four of them. Because heavy armor would just give them light. And even with us all wearing light armor, it was still quite tricky to do. Because...
That's not an embassy.
Just not its best side.
Sewers? Really? How did you know about this?
Mind your own business. This way. Stay low.
It seems Wilma has quite a lot of secrets we don't know about. Considering she'd never been here before, apparently, she seems to know quite a bit, you know? But anyway. Upon entering, you gotta sneak around. If you get detected, it is game over. And you basically have to plant a document. Now, I know sneaking through here. Now, this person's line of sight makes no sense. They are no way looking in this direction, right? Yet somehow they are detecting us. Despite not even facing us, they can see where we are. Which, you know, fair enough, we'll go with it and say, oh, apparently they can all sense me. But it's still rather annoying. I wanted to make sure I got the extra loot that was down here, so I ended up sneaking off down here, and I was like, come on, please. One thing I didn't account for was the fact that if you have multiple party members selected, it makes sure it moves multiple people in. Quest could have game over for me right then and there. Now, the thing that's a bit confusing is when you come up here, you'll notice there is a Shock Arcanist. Now, the Shock Arcanist has a health bar. Same with the citizens down below. Now, you'd think that would mean that apparently you could fight them. No, if you get detected by them, it's game over. Which I didn't... I wasn't sure about. So one thing I ended up doing after planting the evidence and whatnot was I decided to test it to see what would happen. I decided, you know, I'm going to plant the document and, you know, I completely forgot about the loot in the room because I wanted to test this out. So I had everybody line up on the other side of the door. I wanted to find out what was further on down the hall in case I was missing anything like potential loot or something or other. However, that was not the case. So I'm waiting for him to move around. I decided to save the game because obviously I'm trying to test to see whether we can actually fight him and get some extra experience. You know, Shock Arcanist, like maybe he might have some experience for us and loot. It's then that I realised, oh wait, hang on, there's loot in this room. I better go and loot it. You know, that'd be a nice thing to do, you know. We get a pearl and a sapphire, not too bad I suppose. And I begin looking around for extra stuff. Sadly, unable to find it. And with that disappointment, I decide, right, okay. The Shock Arcane is here, it's going to stop moving down. I'll choose somebody incredibly sneaky. I'll save the game here again, just to be on the safe side. Now I've got some loot, so I don't have to loot it again. And I'll send somebody out there, my most sneakiest person being Wilma, because she's a rogue, of course, you know. Makes sense. And I was going to have her stab this guy in the back. Or possibly shoot him, one of the two. So I move down here to let him walk past. And then I think I get my bow out. Yeah. I'm like, right, let's attack him before he detects me. And just like that, I try to load, but the game screen already popped up. Yeah. Game over, because we got detected. Okay, cool beans, no worries. Right, we lost, unfortunately, that's just the way it is, you know. Reload the save, because, you know, you reload from your last checkpoint. And let's move on. So, I do just that. Shock Arcanist walks off, he's in the perfect position too, that's why I saved the game right there. It was very advantageous for me, and I decided to start trying to make my way out. However, things don't necessarily go as planned for me due to the fact that these guys, basically, apparently have eyes in the back of the head. They can see me still no matter how far away I am from them. And I keep getting detected. So I have my guys sneaking through. That guy doesn't see us despite facing sideways, but this chick can see us no problem despite not even looking at us. So game over. Frustrating, of course. We reload the save. Bada bing, bada boom. And I'm like, right, okay, so I don't know how they detected me there, and I'm basically going on about it. Kind of irritated a little bit by it, because obviously they should not have seen me. They didn't turn to face me or anything. But you know, I go back down there again and decide, you know, let's try and sneak off again. But this guy faces this way for a moment, so I go into panic mode, but I'm like, no, we got this, we got this. We'll just hug the back wall this time. And that we do. This guy's still seeing us. And as we can see, nobody is spotting us right here. So I move there, and we start getting detected. So I move back behind this thing, and suddenly, oh, they can see us now, despite not being able to see us a second ago when we was literally one tile away. Which is, you know, a fun time. So, again, we have to try it again. This time, if I remember correctly, we have no issue with this stream. Just, sneak on out. But yeah, this game doesn't use the 360, view mindset really. Like, for example, if an enemy is facing a certain way and you're behind them, you are classed as behind them in this game whenever you're in combat. But apparently outside of combat, the 360 rule applies, which some DMs use in D&D, where you can see within 360 degrees of you to a certain range. But anyway, yeah, we sneak out no problem that time. Almost get detected to a degree when it comes to LD, but now we make it. No problem. Easy peasy. And I'm in quite a happy mood. Like, finally, that quest is done. We get on with it. We can now move on. So, I did have quite a bit of a fun time this episode. Trying to figure out what I wanted to do. What side quests to undertake, and I was also looking forward to the reputation these side quests will give me, because I wanted more reputation with more places. Because one thing I wanted to be able to do was buy a primed longsword and make a, I think it's I can't remember the name of the blade now. But yeah, I wanted to make the enchanted sword, which basically allows me to set enemies on fire, which is a recurring 1d6 each round unless they make a save. Quite a nice blade. I was going to shove it on Fanna and go Warcaster because I wanted to be able to use the weapon and shield and still be able to cast spells. Gives Fanna more survivability, higher AC so he can't get killed as easily, and yeah, it would just make my mage more tanky. Here we got to deal with Daliat's enemies, and me being a dum-dum forgets to sneak, and we get detected instantaneously. As soon as we go near this hole, so I'm like, okay, well fine, I'll just set myself up nice and pretty. I'll move on over to here, and, you know, they won't be able to get to me, haha, you know? Good thing is, apparently, this is what I find funny. We can all hide and not be detected right now, despite the enemy detecting us, right? If they can see us, how did they end up in combat in the first place? It doesn't really make sense, does it? But I start moving all my pieces into the same location, getting that 4x4, sorry, 1x1 into a 4 square that I love so much for doing the firewall strategy, so the enemy can't really deal with me. I forgot to put the armor on Fanna. I tried that and I was like, oh wait, I can't do that because by D&D rules I believe it takes like over 10 minutes to put your armor on. You can't really do that while in combat, because in real life if you try to put armor on, you're not going to be able to just shove it on instantly. It's going to take you a good while. You got to mess around with all the straps and all that kind of stuff. It's a lot, trust me. Watch any video on somebody trying to put on some night plate armor, and it's not as simple as you think. There's a lot of straps. Some people need help with it. You got to put gambas on underneath, all this stuff. But anyway, start off the combat. We open the gate. We get shot by some arrows.
Perhaps
which,
if you try to be loud instead.
Unfortunate. We get detected. D tries to go for the opportunity attack to basically stop in their tracks. We unfortunately miss. And D's just getting shanked at this point. I'm like, right, we're going to deal with this enough. No problem. Go ahead, keep swinging at me. That one only took one swing for some weird reason. No idea why, but hey, we'll take it. So I immediately start trying to take out the
How does that feel?
Getting them out of the way because unfortunately my firewall trick that I love to do does not work on ranged opponents, which is why we need to get rid of them ASAP. D, I'm certainly considering what to do aside I was going to conjure elemental. And this seemed like a very fun idea at first, but... And I was like, nah, should I main beam instead? And I was like, yeah, but that's going to take my action each turn. Nah. You know what? Spike growth sounds fun because Zed's going to start running round, basically. And it gets me some damage on them. It hope it gets some of the ranged opponents one that doesn't outright finish off, potentially. So why not? You know, place it nice in there, nice and happy. We'll do vanish so the enemy can't attack me. And then basically my spike growth stays up and they can't break my concentration. Fana starts off and I'm like, okay, you know, usual thing I love to do. Fana, fireball! It's pretty much the wizard's bread and butter by this point. It's what wizards love to do. And honestly, I do find it a little bit boring.
Arcana Evo Malmis.
Like most wizards, when it comes to D&D 5e, their immediate reaction is just fireball. With a bunch of enemies in the area, fireball. It's guaranteed damage, regardless. You are going to hit. If the enemy is safe to take off, sure. But there's so many dice that it can be a bit of a gamble.
We're coming your way.
And it can be a little bit boring because most wizards just stick to fireball. Got a level 3 fire spell slot fireball. And I kind of do the same thing, unfortunately, when I'm playing the wizard in this game, because it's just so useful. It makes combat go so much faster. So I do understand it, but it is still boring. Here, D's just getting knocked over. He's been sliced to pieces. Well, Matt, again, I just carry on trying to take out my ranged opponents. Make sure I get rid of them. One of them died from running through the spike growth, if I remember correctly. Well, it's slowly
keep him coming
down. Now it's just a melee dudes in melee range, which is, you know, a fun time. Well, Matt, I'm looking for who's the weakest here. We take a shot with the bow. Boom, 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 boom. Big bad boom. Having a fun time. And D comes out of invisibility because, of course, the turn is ended. I break my concentration on the spike growth because it's no longer needed anymore, and immediately start my firewall.
Natura Evo.
Because I don't like nasties being able to get through. Then I do the same with Fana. Again, another firewall.
Arcana Evo Clipe.
Aha! How do you like it? Because I love it. And the enemy runs in. Oh, shame man. Oh. We does that. We take car.
You've endured worse.
And we watch them burn. And now I'm like, burn, baby, burn. At one point I was listening to a bit of song about it. You know, fun time. D just comes in, swinging away. And because I've gone with Rogue and I get sneak attack time, which is so many damage numbers on my screen right now with Lil D. And while it may not seem that useful, see, I could just carry on going Barbarian. And, you know, that's nice and all. Get some extra perks from being a Barbarian. By going into Rogue, even though I've not gone that many levels, it gives me extra sneak attack damage, especially with the hoodlum.
Another one bites the dust.
It gets me extra damage die, so I'm always going to be dealing more damage rather than dealing no damage by going for the extra level up in Barbarian. Which is why you'll see me do some level up tricks to a degree, which might not seem like they make sense, but to me it does. Every damage dice is additional damage, which means I potentially end a combat encounter faster, rather than having to wait to deal another turn's worth of damage. And that's why I do a lot of messing around with the multiclassing in this game, which is fun. Now, of course, in the future, I may do a non-modded playthrough, so with the standard, bog standard classes and whatnot, of course. But I like the unfinished business market like you can in actual D&D. It's a bit more realistic to a degree with actual 5e rule set being able to multiclass, but some will limit you to the amount of times you can multiclass up to 2 times some DMs. Which is why I don't do it more than twice on any character in this game. Very cold, not bothering about hurting my allies. And we do a significant amount of damage there, which was not bad at all. We're able to take out the enemy. We shove the armor back on Fana. And we're in a happy mood. We start running around grabbing all the loot, looking out for any loot we can get because, you know, money's money. I'm always happy to get more of it. Another cool thing is you're able to restock shops with the unfinished business mod. You're also able to change a lot of settings. Because Solasta, while it does copy a lot of 5e's rule set, it does a lot of things different. Which I'm not too big of a fan of, and I love it that I can change. This is what the unfinished business mod manages to change. Also, the devs of Solasta said they are never going to put multi-classing in the game. However, the unfinished business mod is supported in the game's official Discord. So, while they have no influence on it, they are aware the community has done this, and they are happy for it to be led. If even made tabs in their official Discord for this mod specifically, which is good standing with the community, and a great step forward in my opinion. They are not adding multiclass into this game, because obviously they have things balanced a certain way. They can't anticipate the multiclass of every different class combination and have it be completely balanced. It's just a headache for them to work with. And there's also a lot more classes and subclasses you can go with in the unfinished business mod than what the base Solasta game allows as well. That's why I love the unfinished business mod so much. It's definitely an improvement to the base game in my opinion. I played for the base game. The base game is a fantastic game without the mod. But it's just lots of things that I would have loved to have been there that the base game just doesn't provide. That's why I'm using it in this playthrough. So, I head back to town here with my newfound loot. I tried to equip the Magnificent Battle Axe on Fanna, but again, can't use it. Not proficient in the weapon. I went to go speak to Dali out here. Couldn't speak to him, because...
Greetings, deputies.
I thought I might have been able to turn it in and say, oh yeah, I've done it, but... It doesn't allow you to do that, unfortunately. So I'm like, right, okay, well, we'll just make our way over to our quest objective, because, you know, why not? We'll check out the Circle of Danantar reputation-wise to see what we could potentially buy for our characters. Because I'm trying to plan this out. What armor am I going to get on Fanna, for example? What armor is D going to get?
Deputies, do you have anything for the circle?
I also could improve some reputation with them. Because
We
I do have an
require
item
your
for
services.
it. So I'm having a look around. I'm looking for that plate armor, the adamantine plate or the dwarven plate, because those armor pieces are great. But our reputation hadn't got up at all. As I said, I thought it was going to with that quest, but it didn't, unfortunately. So I have a look at my reputation with each alliance, and now I'm going to get more for the side quest. Sorry, but else is a bit stuffy. Not much I can do about it. And I'm pondering it all out, man. I need to get to Living Legend World, which at least I have access to everything in their store. The Arcadium I am quite close with. Same with the Circle of Danantar. The Antiquarians also. So I am close to getting Living Legend with those. Scavengers have leveled up just from dropping loot and selling to them. Tower of Knowledge I've probably neglected the most because it's the least useful faction of them all, in my opinion. Well, it does allow you lots of
Deputies,
recipes.
do you have anything for the circle?
Poisons and stuff like that. The other stuff
We
is just
might.
like massively more important and better. So I give some reputation here, thinking, you know what? I do want to
Stay
get
in
some
the light,
reputation with the
deputies.
Circle of Danantar because I want to be able to get that armor that I want so badly. Unfortunately, it's still not enough and I can't do it. I said to head back to Shore Spell to see if the reputation's gone up with them at all, and what I can potentially get. Can I get that prime longsword to make my enchanted item or not? And it turns out, no, I cannot. Unfortunately, as much as I would love to.
Clear skies, adventurers. Anything new for the Arcanian?
Possibly.
I considered giving this to him instead. Because I want just enough reputation to be able to get that proud longsword. I don't need Living Legend
Stay
with
in the
them.
light.
I just need enough for that. But so, unfortunately, I just don't get it. And don't have enough, not much I could do. I was considering about giving it to somebody else. I could have loaded here, but I quickly changed my mind and said, nah, you know, we'll keep that the way it is. I'll get reputation from these quests, of course. I decided to make my way over to the quest objective here, because we might go into the Antiquarians to have a look at what items I could get. And I completely forget about being able to fast travel, so here I don't, unfortunately. But it is what it is. Now, soon I'm going to start cutting a lot of this footage because I've been rambling on for over 20 odd minutes, and it's kind of hard to think of something to constantly think about to talk about to keep the recording at least somewhat interesting while you see me do all this boring stuff, seeing that you can't actually know what I'm actually saying, and I would have been saying during the actual recording, because of course technology loves to screw me over. Every time. Just life hates me, for some weird reason.
Is Lord Belmont around?
Yeah, he had to return home.
In a rush?
Indeed.
Thank you, Ravensworth.
You're welcome, deputies.
So here we conclude the whole issue where one of them said they recognised Wilma. We planted the evidence, it's worked out, the next day happens, so we are in a happy place. I also spot an angry bush. I decide to run over and I'm just like, oh, there's an angry bush up here, what the hell? It's just loot, it's just a plant, so I decided, you know what, never mind, nah, screw it, we're just on our way out, why not? No point being here. And I move on to the next quest, trying to think of what to do. I head to this Manicle of Ruin, because I want to get some, get this quest out the way, so why not, may as well. I realised that we leveled up, like, okay, cool, so when it comes to Big D, I just stay with the Druid like I have been this whole entire time. They'll need to multi-class into anything else. I could multi-class into Barbarian for the Rage, but I'm not going to. Because that means I can't use concentration spells that are wild-shaped. Wilma, I think about going rogue again. I decide to. And I'm trying to decide what feat to go for. Because you can see I get 2 feats here. I'm like, oh wow, nice, we get 2 feats. What should I go for? I settle on Fade Teleportation, decide to go for Wisdom. And Shadow Touch and go for Wisdom. The reason why this gives me free teleportation. Like I would have got if I'd have gone with the Shadowcaster originally. And it also gives me the ability to turn invisible through the Shadow Touch, which allows me to sneak off and go invisible and go into sneak mode. With D, I decide to go another level in Rogue. This gets me Uncanny Dodge, which basically allows me to halve incoming damage potentially, which is good while I'm raging. And there's a bunch of options, Eager for Battle for extra initiative, but I get that advantage anyway for being a Barbarian. There was also extra movement I could have gone for. I decided to go for Heavy Blow though, because it gives me extra damage, another damage die, based on my strength modifier, which is 5 at the moment. So I get an extra potential 5 damage on every attack, which is another dice roll. For the Wizard, I am considering about what to turn into. And I decide that I'm going to go with Cleric once again here. The reason being is because Channel Divinity using action, bolster the armor of allies within a 30-foot radius is also nice. But then I was just like, nah, you know what? I'm going to go with Wizard again. Get my level 10. Why not? I get my feat instead. And I'm trying to think what to go for. I like the idea of Potent Spellcaster because that allows me to get extra damage on my cantrips. So when I go, nah, I'm going Warcaster. Gives me a sword and shield I can use. And of course, being the sword and shield, that allows me to also cast spells while wielding them. I get extra AC. And it gives me an option if I'm getting an enemy that is counter spell, for example, where I can just melee attack instead and not have to worry about it. There aren't that many enemies that can counter spell in the game. But just the extra AC on top of, you know, other things is just great. I have an AC of 23 right now. It's kind of wild. It's kind of nutty. The only issue is I'm a bit over encumbered, unfortunately. Here, I'm trying to do the library quest. I'm like, where the hell do I go for it? It ended up taking me like 20 minutes to figure it out while I'm running around. Like, where the hell do I go? Do I go into the crown room? Because it says something about it in the journal. So I'm running around over and over, trying to search around everywhere. Don't worry, you're not going to see me do a whole 20-minute search here. I run over here to the crown room. Like, is it in here? Do I click on the altar? Because, you know, that's what we did last time on the side quest, where we had to deal with those elementals. And I remember fighting elementals again, but I remember also a secret room in a library of sorts. And I'm sort of just like, I could have sworn there's a secret room in a library somewhere that I have to go to. So I'm running around looking around for it. Turns out, it is not the secret room quest. This is something else entirely. So I carry on searching, and finally I find a rune. Like, yes, I figured it out. Okay, so it's here. I already ran over here, but I never went down here. So I'm able to find it this time. Realised I got to have everybody step on different ones, so I sort all that out. This ends up putting us into a fight. Now, one thing I have done with Little D and Big D is I've given them blind sight, essentially, through the Warlock tree, which allows them to see and fight in the dark. So it says something with the darkness spell, and I try setting it up during this encounter, but everything goes horribly wrong. I immediately make Little D run up to Fire to protect him, because he's got the least HP out of all of us. And I'm ready to melee attack for Fana. I'm considering using Cone with Cold here, but unfortunately I can only get one of them at a time, so I didn't really see it worth it. So I was just like, right, well, instead what I'll do is I'll cast Darkness on us maybe, and that way I can hide us from view. But then again, Fana can't see in the dark, so I've not gone for the Eldritch Invocation for him. So that won't really work. So what do? If you guessed Fireball, you'd be correct. I ended up going with Fireball. Like I said, it's so tempting as a wizard to just go for Fireball. It's incredibly boring. But it gets the encounters over so much quicker because it does so much damage, it's guaranteed. I'm having trouble placing it though, unfortunately, here. It's becoming a bit of a pain in the arse. Eventually I managed to find the sweet spot though.
Arcana Evo.
There it is. So we get some nice damage in. Unfortunately this succeeds and only takes 20 points of fire damage, and despite being a level like 6 spell or 5, I don't remember. You see those 4 different damage dice on Lil D there? Isn't it evil? Potential extra damage from the multi-class and defeats I've been taking. Gotta love it. He starts punching D's face in, and Wilma moves in. She's just like, right, throw for a bit of stabby stubby. Turns out he's not in melee range though, we have to shoot him instead, so goes to do just that. I consider Mr. stepping out. Decide not to. Take it. Take a shot. I love the amount of damage it does. Some of his damage dice for her too. I realise I have no arrows, but I've already used my item interaction to switch my weapon from the blades to the bow, so I can't do that this turn. So I'm like, right, what can I do? Well, I've got the ability to dash away. Why don't I do that? So, I have a dash. The IRL elemental misses its opportunity attack, and I'm in a happy mood. This IRL elemental makes its way over, starts punching D, and it, despite it cutting damage in half, does some good damage to him. One of it goes for Big D, and yeah, 32 points of damage. Another one comes in for Big D. Like, it starts off really poorly, this encounter. It really does. From the turn initiative order. Big D's almost dead already. Now, what shall I do? I disengage to run away. Try and regroup with the others, because I don't really want to be here right now. Being ganged up on. And then I'm like, right, what spell should I do? You know what? I'll heal myself up because I'm going to need to.
Evo Curai. Evo Curai.
Round 2, I have Lil D jump down. I have him immediately reckless, and start beating elemental.
More coming your way. More coming your way.
And it's okay, some nice damage numbers in. Love seeing the amount of them on the screen. 4 different damage dice going up for once. That time only 3, unfortunately, because you can't sneak us out multiple times per round. And then when it comes to Fana, I'm like, right, what can I do here? You know what? I'm going to put Darkness on D and Lil D. Why not? Give them a bit of protection so that they can't be seen. And that way they can't get advantage on Lil D while he's reckless attacking. But Lil D gets his advantage on them. And D will also have the advantage as well. They'll have disadvantage on Big D. I'm going to have Fana run away. So I'm like, right, I need to get away from here. However, things don't necessarily go according to plan, because the air elemental, I managed to stop it in its tracks from chasing after Fana.
It seems effortless. It seems effortless.
I decided to go after Fana instead, because he's not in the darkness, it's easier target. Wilma, I have her run away, basically. And I decided to cast invisibility on her so I can sneak off, hide, and then enter into combat again while getting sneak attack on all my enemies, because I use my bonus action to dash, which I love doing. So I do just that. Haha. Now, despite them having disadvantage, well, nice, it actually equals out because they get advantage on Lil D. With the darkness, it's a flat roll.
Okay?
This elemental decides to charge after Fana immediately. So does this one. I'm like, well, this is going to shit. Big time.
You've
I
seen
shield to
worse.
protect myself. I'm like, yeah, it won't be able to hit me now. It still hits me. Still hits me. And I'm like, okay, I'm in trouble. Fana is severely weak. What should I do? You know, let's use this new Sunbeam spell I've learned. It can hit multiple enemies. It's an action each turn. I can use it to deal some good damage. And it can also blind my enemies. And that'll give us a bit of help. So, I try and get Sunbeam to go in a good cone. The only problem is, it's a bit hard to work in this game.
Natura,
To a degree. I managed to get it to hit 2 of them well. I blind one of them, which is great. It also lightens the area, which is also awesome. I then decided to vanish with Big D to make sure he survives. Because unfortunately when Fana got tagged, the darkness spell he lost concentration on. So now we're back into being seen again.
well done.
Which is not good, luckily. Lil D is able to take out one of the elementals, so it's not a huge loss. And D moves in on the next one. He's like, blah blah blah. Let's get these extra 2 hits, some extra damage in. Good stuff. Fana then casts great invisibility on himself because he's so weak. And we have him walk off. I was going to have him miss his step and move away. After the enemies all converged on Lil D and Big D, but again didn't go according to plan. Wilma, I forget, hang on 1 minute, let's move over here and let's take a shot at them. I then accidentally used my action to hide like a dumbass, so I can't even take a shot at them. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to have my turn then. Again,
Are you still with us?
Luckily, with the cutting in half damage, he's okay for the most part. I decided to Shocking Grasp with my Fana here, if I remember correctly.
Malvis.
Hoping to push them away. I don't know if it actually works in elementals or not. I noticed he moves away, but I don't know if that's because of his movement moving away or not. I'm not too sure. But either way, invisibility ends on D. I'm like, right, okay, let's sunbeam again. Let's try and get these two who are above us right now. Try and get one of them blinded. That'd be awesome. However, trying to get the angle on them both is just really hard. Like I said, it's hard to aim this ability in this game. I'm not too sure if I'm getting them both. And unfortunately, I'm not. I thought I were because of the line. I thought it would have hit, but I couldn't really tell because, you know, it's covered up by the box. So here I'm like, right, should I turn into an elemental here? Or should I turn into a deep spider who is blindside? I wasn't too sure. The problem is it is low HP, so I'm not going to see if I can heal will D getting nice and healthy instead. And obviously Lil D is going back into his action reckless attack. He's going to swing at the elementals. Kaboom. Weakest gets the attacks.
You'll die like the rest.
However, just not enough to take them out, unfortunately, this time. Fana is still concentrating on the invisibility, so I'm like, hang on, no, I can't do darkness right now, which I wanted to do the whole entire time. So trying to get out this strategy that I had planned in my head is just not going well at all. I hide my actual action, and I'm considering what to do here, because I really do not know. I'm reading my abilities, but I just can't seem to make my mind up. All I know is I am stealthed now, which is good. That means the enemy won't come over here. They'll stay focused on those two. So let's make our way over with Wilma. I'm like, hang on. Why can't I shoot these elemental? I should have an angle on him, and surely I can hit him. If suddenly I realise, oh wait a minute, I don't have arrows. You know, that'd help if I actually had the arrows to use, you know. Also guys, please give me a like for managing to sit here and try and commentate the whole entire time. Because it's hard trying to remember everything I did and talk about what I was thinking at the time. Because I have terrible memory. We take some shots while invisible, well, in stealth, and we get a nasty amount of damage. That's almost 60 points of damage. That is dirty. Absolutely dirty. I am loving that. I'm like, oh, that's so nasty. Gotta love rogues, you know.
You're still in the fight, my friend. You're still in the fight, my friend.
However, Lil D is getting really low right here. They are really working for Lil D. And they are going to take him down, it looks like. The four of them together just seems to be doing massively well. They're beating Lil D's face in. So here, I'm like, right, what can I do? I need to think of something. And I decided to use Mass Cure Wounds because it can heal multiple of us and give us some good HP. Unfortunately, I can only get the two of us. But it's enough to keep us in the fight a little bit longer and take some more hits. Again, reckless with Lil D. I can do. Start focusing on this elemental because it's the most injured. So I'm trying to get them down so there's less of them to attack, which means we get more action than they can do, and then it basically allows us to get the fight over quicker, with us getting damaging rather than the enemy having to turn to attack. Here, I break my concentration spell and try and cast darkness. However, I'm having trouble placing it. I'm like, right, that's going to catch him, right? Miss everybody. I am so annoyed with myself here. It looks like it was going to catch them, but it just does not. And that's just the way it is. So here with Wilma, I'm just like, right, well, I just need to get rid of him then. It's failed. I get a nasty 14 and a 38. Absolutely disgusting. And yeah, I just start pelting away at this elemental on my right. Let's just get him out of the way. He's the only one I can see. I can't see the other one because of the darkness. I've actually blinded myself in real life. Here, technically, with this darkness spell. It's kind of had the opposite effect where I blinded myself rather than the enemy. But yeah, they do end up taking Lil D down, because like I said, I had completely messed up with my
Take that.
darkness spell here. D carries on with the sunbeam. I can't really tell where I'm aiming here. I'm just trying to get the enemy. I'm hoping I hit them. It's just a gamble. And I hit Lil D and take him down, because I can't really see the trajectory. So yeah, like I said, I blinded myself in real life. Let's blind the game. When I was supposed to blind the enemy, I cast heal on Big D to keep the fight a bit longer. Sorry, Lil D to get him up in the fight. Keep him busy focused on us. Take out that enemy. Now it's just one on his own, and from here, it's an easy victory, thankfully. If we hit. We do manage to hit one of the attacks. And it's going rather well, which is pretty nice. And turn there. Fanna's going to have a fun time here. I'm contemplating what to do. I decided to go with gold, hoping it'll do big damage numbers. But I get a really low roll. Sorry, a really high roll, sorry. With 70 points of damage, but everybody succeeds. Not just the enemy, but my guys as well. I could have been a nice 70 points of damage and killed the enemy. And here with Wilma, she apparently needs goes to spec savers and get some glasses because she cannot see the enemy. Despite being there, you know. Big D goes down, Little D's down. I'm like, okay, we're in trouble here. Both of us two are down, but it's just one of his own. I'm pretty sure we've won. So maybe not so much. And we just start focusing on taking him down. Here I'm like, right, you know what? Good, reliable fireball. Let's do it. Those two are down anyway, so this is going to get him closest to death. But if I can kill the enemy outright, then the fight is over, you know? Fireball does good damage. We'll do it as level 5. It's just damage numbers. Why not? And it succeeds. No, it doesn't succeed. Sorry, I get a low roll, sorry. Unfortunately. And we don't get the maximum damage we can get. So we'll have to finish it off. Boom. Finally. Now, when I activated the item that spawned these elementals, it doesn't actually pick up the loot. I am so glad I decided to check on the loot. I decided to check the chest just in case to make sure I picked it up. Thankfully it did, otherwise I would have had to come back here, and that would not have been fun. And I remembered the first time I played this game years ago, when I did it without the unfinished business mod and all that stuff, and it's my first time going through the game. I only ever played through the game once, so my memory, I try and make it work, but I can't always guarantee it to work. You know, if I can't remember, I can't remember. Try to remember as much as possible. I remember actually leaving the item behind and being like, hang on, I haven't done this quest, I need to go all the way back. I'm glad I decided to check. So I'm looking at what other quests I can do here, what I can hand in. Having a hard time deciding, but it is what it is. In the end, I decided on the Bitter Roots treasure map, because I'm like, right, let's go to the Silent Whisper base. I don't remember what happens here either. I just know there's going to be a fight of some kind. So I do some arcane recovery and whatnot. I'm like, hang on, it doesn't really matter I'm doing this, so I'm going to take a long rest anyway before we set off. And the one thing that irritates me about this map, why can't they, it's the same with the first map but you end up going to. Why can't they just have a fast travel point, be right in the centre of camp next to the place where you can take a long rest? Why does it have to be up here and I have to run all the way down to it? You know? They do that with the Care Kiflin as, you know, when I have to go to the first outpost at the start of the game as well, where you just don't have a fast travel marker where it should be. It irritates the heck out of me. But anyway, let's do this long rest, I'm thinking to myself, and get all my resources back so I'm ready for this Silent Whisper outpost. But of course, instead of the game of an equality of life thing that where my allies just move to me and take the long rest, I have to wait for them to run over another like 5 squares just to do it. It irritates me. Like, really, they can't take a long rest being sat right there? Not all that far away from the campfire. They can move around during the long rest, which lasts for, you know, 24 hours. So you have plenty of time to move around, but no. That wouldn't be so simple, would it? But anyway. Moving on, I decided to head to the Silent Whisper outpost. And I'm like, I don't really remember what happens here. I just know there's a fight. And I'm contemplating about what kind of fight it is, because I just simply do not remember. I decided to travel slowly because I obviously want to get there without being surprised by the enemy. That's why you always see me do slow travels. If you move fast, your party moves quickly, less chance of spotting the enemy, which means you have a higher chance of being ambushed and the enemy getting a surprise round, which can make all the difference between you winning an encounter or potentially losing one, which is why I always do the slow travel, because there's less chance of me being surprised and just like straight up knowing the enemy are there, or potentially ambushing them instead. Well, this area is really small, really. And there's two different fights, and it does look a little bit similar to the first cave you enter during the tutorial. However, it is not the same place. You got this ladder, and you got item up here where there was a chest in the tutorial. So deceivingly, it seems like that place that you went to, but there's no crawl space, and it's a different location. However, one thing that I didn't anticipate is there are enemies right here. I realised too late. I'm like, no, move away, don't get detected. And unfortunately, we get detected. The fight starts. Well, it's just two of them. I'm like, why do I feel like there should be more enemies? Either way, I just move in and start dealing with them. It's really not a problem. We have Lil D run up there to be the tank and start getting some damage in on these enemies. Take them down a notch. Or outright kill them if we can. Obviously, that's going to happen. But if I can get some good damage in and get them to focus on Lil D, that'd be great. Reckless here.
Nice move.
And I hadn't, just to make sure that the enemy decide to go after Lil D because they get advantage on him. The AI will prioritise that over the other characters sometimes. And then have these three drop down the ladder and go into hide mode. The reason being is because it makes sure the enemy will surround Lil D, of course. So I'm contemplating on using the darkness trick again on Lil D. However, we end up getting through this encounter rather quickly, I might add. So that doesn't end up happening. We just let Lil D be basically the centre of attention. The enemy focuses on Lil D. Lil D stays up there and does what he can to kill the enemy. And it's going relatively well. That's one enemy down on his second turn, which is beautiful. And then we can start working on this berserker. He doesn't have as much HP. Unfortunately, we're not able to kill him outright, but we have good old Wilma with her arrows. You know, surely she can put the hurt in on this enemy and get them down really quickly. And yes, she can. Dirty, disgusting damage. Obviously, that's about 70 points of damage. Ugh. I love it. So I'm like, right, okay, we got everybody here. We'll put everybody into cautious mode after we do this loot. And we'll have Lil D, you know, move into this next area. There is a door here. Let's carry on through. However, the second we open the door, we're immediately thrown into combat. Somehow, despite Wilma being the stealthiest one here, she gets detected, but Big D next to her doesn't. Don't ask why, because I don't know. We have Lil D charging the room. I'm like, should I rage? Should I reckless? You know what? Yeah, this is a good opportunity to do a darkness strat, so we'll have them run in. And I do just that. Rage. Reckless. I'm like, right, we're going to get rid of this direwolf first, because the direwolves they get advantage from an ally who's within 5 feet, called Pack Tactics. Wolves get. So let's start focusing on them first, so they can't get advantage on attacking Lil D. They'll get advantage anyway, because it's reckless in, but, you know, in case they end up going after another party member, they don't get that advantage, and if they're dead, you know? I have Big D do a move, and I'm contemplating which action should I do. And I decided to go on Spike Growth on top of Lil D, because that means the enemy, if they want to get to us, has to run through the Spike Growth.
I really thought.
If they want to get to Lil D, they have to also run through the Spike Growth. It's just guaranteed damage. I'll have Big D move over here, and I use Vanish to go invisible, so I don't have to worry about not using the hide action there. The enemy goes invisible themselves and starts moving. However, another wolf begins making its way in on Lil D, gets stopped in the middle of the Spike Growth, and almost dies outright just from running through it trying to get to Lil D, which I find hilarious. Lil D's just stood there. I have Wilma move over here so she can hide. I basically clicked the wrong one again, forgetting not to use my cutting action first. Sorry, forgetting to use my cutting action first, and basically it means the turn gets wasted. But Wilma is now hiding behind this wall, and I'm also worried about the shaman using lightning bolt, because that could have hit all 4 of us. Sort of that doorway, it could have been incredibly deadly. Luckily they didn't go for it, but it could have like done a significant number of damage to everybody, or outright killed somebody potentially, or set up a kill for the next round. Which is why I'm having everybody kind of back up and separate if I can. I cast Darkness on top of Lil D here. Actually, no I don't. No. I back off and decide to hide first, don't I? Yes, I do. I hide first. Then next round, I consider using Darkness on Lil D, sorry. My brain. Considering Phantom was not stealth there, I have to use the action stealth. He takes care of one wolf. Which one should we go for? Let's get rid of this Berserker. Why not? Getting quite low, which is quite nice, and we'll end turn. D comes into hide mode, and we end turn with him. And Lil D starts taking some acid arrows, which is nice. That wolf kills itself with my Spike Growth, which is great. And Wilma begins, you know, contemplating who should I shoot. In the end, I decided to just go for the shaman. We need to get the shaman out of the way. Unfortunately, because they are unlit, apparently, despite standing in that big bright light area, I can't see them, apparently, so we just get flat roll instead of advantage. And I'm like, why am I not getting an advantage? Now, that area is clearly lit up. It's not an unlit area, surely. You know? Apparently, according to the game, it is, despite me clearly seeing light there. Anyway, these are all going in on Lil D. Lil D is still looking healthy despite being surrounded. And of course, I have my wizard move in, and I'm like, right. Darkness on top of Lil D. Hang on, I'm going to get detected if I cast this spell right here. Maybe back up a bit. I have Sniper with this character, so I have extra range on my spells. So I'll back up a bit, and that works nicely. So I pop Darkness on top of Lil D. And now everything's heavily obscured. Now the enemy gets a flat roll on Lil D rather than an advantage. And Lil D gets to have a fun time of getting advantage on everything. So he starts swinging away. He managed to take out one of them.
More coming your way.
Then I contemplate on taking out the second weakest. Unfortunately, I don't have enough damage, of course, you know, it's going to take more hits than that. And I have Lil D move in, and I'm like, what should I do with Lil D now? Sorry, Big D now, sorry. I decide I was going to Moonbeam and cancel the Spike Growth, because the enemy are already on top of Lil D now. They don't need to run through it. So I'll cast a Moonbeam and get some damage in. Should I try and get it on the Shaman at the back? Now, we'll do it on these first, because, you know, that way Lil D can move in on the Shaman faster, and we can make her start running around the room, and we'll deal with her. Shoots D with another acid arrow, setting him acidified. And we have Wilma move over here and start pelting away with her bow and arrow. Because, you know, fun times. It's always good to have some fun. And we unfortunately missed the first one. We hit the second one. Didn't get a very high roll, but still do a lot of damage anyway. Because, you know, that's just the way the game crumbles when you play a rogue and you level up a bit. And, yeah. These guys are trying to hit little D. And the darkness spell is working. They don't have advantage, which is a fun time. Unless they pop advantage themselves, in which it evens out. Apparently the old Berserker did have advantage, which I'm a bit concerned about, because he shouldn't have, because if you have advantage twice, it doesn't cancel out disadvantage, it equals out. That's the reason they had advantage there, I don't know why. But anyway, we fireball the shaman at the back, start trying to burn her down. We lose our stealth, so, you know, I decided, you know, I'll move back behind the wall. They can still hit me through the wall, by the way. The line continues through the wall with lightning bolt, but at least that way you don't have a direct line in everybody. D, I consider using second wind. I just think, nah, you know what, let's just reckless. Get these two out the way. Get our kill there, just so we can deal with the shaman at the back. Swing, swing. Smack, smack. Smackety, smackety. And I'm looking at all these damage dice and I'm loving that. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage dice.
Bleed.
I just love seeing those pretty little numbers pop up. I love it. It's such a good feeling. This is why I've done all this multi-classing, and it's beautiful. I have D move closer towards the shaman a little bit. Twist opportunity attack. And we move the moonbeam towards the shaman. With Big D, because, you know, obviously I want to get them out of the way. In turn, they take some moonbeam damage. Unfortunately, they succeed, so they don't take the full amount. And they only get, well, they don't actually get any. They actually lose health. They got HP back there, but I did 1 more damage than the amount they healed, so yeah. We still lost some HP. It's only 1, but still some damage. Unfortunately, he wasn't missing a second shot there. Doesn't manage to finish this guy off. He runs in, smacks Lil D. Fanna comes in and Fanna's just like, right, okay, let's get this over and done with. Let's finish off this shaman. And we get her. Luckily she doesn't succeed, so we get the full damage. Now, we just finish off this lovely old Berserker. We're done, let's start grabbing all the loot from the room. Now, this quest says it has items for the Arcaneum. This is a little bit confusing, because you're like, well, where's this loot for the Arcaneum? Because if you hover over any of the items in this room, none of them say they give you any reputation for the Arcaneum. And that's because you don't actually get one of those reputation items which you hand in by speaking to them. Instead, it's an item that you just hand in the quest board that gives reputation. So I'm running around, grabbing all the loot, make sure I get everything in this room. I find a +1 shield, which is beautiful. And I'm in a very happy mood here because, you know, who doesn't love getting a nice +1 shield? We find the Silent Whisper Cipher Disc. I don't understand why it gives us reputation with the Arcaneum, but it is what it is. We also get a Slave Stone, which allows us to make some very nice enchantments, of course. And we also get our Magnificent Shield, like I said. Gives +2 AC, and it also gives you a +1, if I'm not mistaken. Which means we can get a very nice AC count. I shove that on good old Fanna here, because Fanna, I'm waiting until he levels up. Sorry, I remember I have Warcaster, he's leveled up, so he can now do that, which is awesome. And now we can have a fun time and do some resting, get all our resources back, ready for the next encounter. On its quest we potentially do, which is awesome. I'm surprised I've been able to talk for this long and keep on top of it the whole entire time. Again, guys, please give me a like for this. I'm actually quite impressed with myself. I usually am not the best at thinking about things to talk about. And I've been pretty consistent with keeping on top of something to talk about the whole entire time. And I've done a pretty good job of it, I'm not going to lie. So here I'm looking at the quest. I'm like, right, what should I hand in? Should I go to the quest board? Should I hand it all in? I need to make some items and enchant them because I now have a slave stone. I can make some pretty nasty weapons if I want to. Let's head on back to a quest board so we can hand in this quest. So, I'm considering where to go next. Is the volcano, is lava forest. I know I still have more side quests. I've got a quest at the fortress, I've got a quest at the copper end, I got a quest at the imperial outpost. I'm like, right, I could go to either one of these, or I could go straight to get the next gem. What should I do? In the end, I decide, you know what, let's save the game because we've made quite a bit of progress. I've got everything on recording, I'm still recording. I did not know my mic was not working. We end up moving to the Dark Castle and decide to take care of these enemies. And it's then that I encounter a glitch. I take care of these enemies. Unfortunately, there's a bit of an error with one of my mods, which basically makes it so that I cannot save the game, which is, you know, a fun time. We don't take care of these enemies without too much issue. I cast a fireball in the room thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna hit these guys. Apparently the fireball radius didn't catch anybody. So I actually have to just straight up move in there and cast another fireball. And get some damage in. Start off the combat. Get some nice damage, and I have him immediately run back to the guys so I can set up the firewall trick that I love to do so much. Because why run around and chase the enemy about who are just going to keep running away from you where you can just stand in one spot with firewall and make them constantly hurt themselves for running to you? It's such a better strategy, I love it. So there I rage and end my turn because I know one of them is at least going to get to me potentially and get an attack on to keep my rage going. And it will also give me my opportunity attacks to keep it going as well. And if I do get attacked, it takes only half damage because of the whole raging thing. Wilma's in a good position to just keep using the bow.
A telling blow.
She gets a nasty, disgusting crit for like 70 points of damage. I believe about 78, 79 or something. There, I'm not too sure. Fires off a second shot. She deals nearly 100 damage in a round. Which, if you think about it, is... love it. Disgusting, but I love it. I Eldritch Blast to try and knock them down. And set up my fire ring here. Which is very nice because these guys hate sunlight. I changed my mind and decided, you know what, I'm going to go with the sunbeam instead. Because I can just keep doing that for all my enemies. Evil. And nice lovely damage on them. And blind them. Make it hard for them to hit me. So that's what I ended up going with, and I decided to set up the firewall with Fanna instead, because, you know, why not? It's a fun time. I love to watch the enemy burn. Nice damage numbers. And we went to Little D, and Swingaroony. This encounter goes over quite quickly, which is awesome. Unfortunately, we do get some low rolls on this guy, though, which does make me kind of sad. The next person runs in, does some damage, burns in the flames, and Lil D tries to stop him from running away. Succeeding, keeping him inside of the fire, meaning he's going to take that fire damage. And Wilma gets to just out away with her arrow still. But again, Wilma apparently needs to go spec savings because she misses her first shot. And she continues on. Doing some nice damage with the second shot. The third attack, however, does not connect. D just uses usual sunbeam burst. It's not really usual, it's only something I recently got, but yeah, it's just some nice damage. I decided, you know what, we'll do these up front, I hit the Sunbeam, let's give him a bit of healing, why not? Can't really complain there. And so, we do just that. We come in with Fana, like, what could I do here? What could I do to get some nice damage? We could do Dancing Lights. Oh wait, that's a concentration! The thing I forgot to read when picking that spell as a class cantrip, like a dumbass. Because that's why I got it, because I thought it was a normal spell. Battlefield there for a certain amount of time. No, it's concentration. So, I do Corner Cold, we do a 43 points of damage. So about a mid-roll there. Lord D finishes them off, and I'm like, yeah, we got through this. Hooray, we're good to go. Let's finish this quest. That's when I get the instability warning about the mod. So, I spent about 2 to 3 minutes trying to figure out why I can't save the game. And unfortunately, it's because of the issues. So technology seems to not like me here and say, oh, it's an error. But that's one of their issues run with running mods. That's mostly my fault. That's within my control because I chose to use mods. Luckily, I don't miss out on much. So I'm having a look at things, trying to figure out, can I quick save here and quick load? We'll do F5 to try and save the game. Cannot save now, so I am officially locked out from being able to save the game. I'm like, right, well, the quest is here, where do I go? It's in the corner. And I just don't seem to notice it here. But I'm like, right, what can I do? Because I can't save the game, there's not really much I can do here. Maybe it's not in this location, despite the quest objective circles showing up on my radial dial on the right hand side, on the bottom right. Where the hell do I go for that? I'm like, you know what, guys, I'm going to restart the game, redo that fight again, because I'm going to need to anyway, because I literally cannot save the game right now. So we took care of the encounter again, this time even better than last time, because, you know, some nice crits on Wilma. And this time I actually spot the item in the corner this time, thanks to me using Alt to highlight the area and show me where the item is. There it is. Boom, boom, boom. I'm in a very happy mood right now because we've just got another quest out the way. We get an ancient letter. And I decided to check it out in case it gives me any kind of bestiary information or anything like that. Because some items... I know there was one book that I did read and it gave me some information on the Sorax, which was very nice to have. So that's why you always see me tend to read these books. And they used to be part of a quest line, but are no longer because of the fact that some content got cut from the game. There was another faction for a lot of these documents to collect that got cut from the base game. So they are just documents that you can sell for money now. Yeah, we decided to take our leave, and now I'm deciding what to do. So you know what? It's time I get some enchantments going on some items and some weapons. Because I really would like some extra damage. I consider going to the Imperial Outpost right away though. But I'm not too sure. You know what? I'm just gonna teleport to Kiflin instead of going to the Imperial Outpost because I want to get some new equipment. Seeing as I can make an enchanted weapon, I may as well start doing that now because it's going to take 1, multiple days for my character to use, and 2, why go into a fight weaker than what I can? If I can get the item potentially crafted before then, if I get lucky enough, I get maximum damage I could possibly deal, which would be nice. So here I hand in a bunch of my side quests, and we'll start getting a bunch of reputation with factions for doing so, which is great. There it is, more scavengers, more Arcaneum, more Circle of Danantar. I'm living legend with the scavengers now, Brotherhood with the Arcaneum, which is absolutely fantastic. We still have another quest to do, which can get us potentially some more reputation with another faction. That's why it's important to do these side quests. You get some good reputation. And now I'm like, right, can I finally get this primed longsword, which I've been after for a while now?
Clear skies, adventurers. Clear skies, adventurers.
We do require your services. We do require your services.
Turns out, these items allow you to conjure elementals. You can ban them and they are consumable, which allows you to summon something, which is pretty nice. In the end, I'm looking for the prime longsword. I make sure to grab the prime longsword. I consider getting a primed plate or something, but ultimately decided against it. I consider getting maybe a rapier for my rogue. But the thing is with Wilma is I did not take the ambidextrous feat, meaning I cannot dual wield rapiers. I decided to get me a prime short bow as well as a prime longsword, because this will essentially allow me to make a nice enchanted bow. I bought a bunch of recipes
Clear skies,
recently
adventurers.
for
Clear skies,
items
adventurers.
I can make, which is absolutely
We do
fantastic.
require your services. We do require
And
your
will
services.
keep me in a very happy mood. The fuck is going on downstairs? Mom's being mental. Crazy old lady downstairs. Anyway, either way, sorry, I just completely just lost my track of thought. It just really just boggled my mind with her being so strange and weird, shouting random shit while I'm recording. Anyway, I'm considering about what I can potentially craft when my game starts bugging out a little bit, being really slow. I'm looking to see if I got the ambidextrous feat. It turns out I have not, unfortunately. And yeah, that's a fun time. So, in order, the problem is with rapiers aren't light weapons. I mean, if I want to dual wield, I need the ambidextrous feat. The rapiers are some of the strongest finesse weapons in the game because of the enchants you can put on them and upgrades you can do to them. So I am trying to figure out where my feats are so I can check what I got. And again, yeah, there's no ambidextrous, so unfortunately, dual wielding rapiers is just not possible. I would have to get another feat from somewhere, which is most likely not going to happen unless I was to multi-class more into another class to get that. And I'm not too sure if I want to do that, really. Either way, I'll then move on to the Circle of Danantar to look at what items I can purchase from them. Because, you know, why not?
Deputies?
Seeing if I can get the
Deputies.
adamantite or the dwarven plate.
We do require
Sadly,
your services. We do
cannot,
require your services.
as much as I would like to. I need to get to Living Legend to buy those, if I'm not mistaken. I could get a plate +1, which is of course a upgrade, but it's only +1 armor class. And I also decided to take a look at the, what's it called now? I decided to take a look at the long mace, I think, because I consider about maybe giving it to Fana, but he can't wield it. I thought because of it being a mace, it'd come under martial weapons. I decided to start looking for this primed wand. Unfortunately, I can't seem to be able to purchase a primed wand from anywhere, to my knowledge, that I haven't seen so far. The reason being is because it gives me a +2 to any spells I cast. If we get 2 of those, give 1 to
Clear
Fana
skies,
and
my
1 to
friends.
D,
Clear skies,
it means
my
I can
friends.
do more damage, which would be
We do require your
absolutely
services. We do
fantastic.
require your services.
But alas, that is not possible. And I decided to look for some enchanted items I could get and some materials. I do not notice there's a primed wand right there. At least I'm pretty sure there's a primed wand for 138 gold. I might be wrong though. I might just be... No, I think that is definitely a primed one. I just didn't notice them. Like, right, well, I guess I have to find one. I now realise that because I've just noticed that now. Luckily, we make our way back to Headlong. And, yeah. Check his inventory out again, which seems a bit unnecessary.
Clear
but
skies, adventurers.
it's not really.
Clear skies, adventurers.
Because I'm just making sure I've got everything that I need. I'm looking around for the prime wand here, so maybe it is a bit unnecessary. Maybe I was wrong on that one. But it is what it is. And I'm contemplating I need to shove some of these rings on, because I've got a lot of these rings that I can potentially equip on my characters. I consider getting the primed pike, because I can make a psychic pike, and barely any enemies in the game actually resist psychic damage. So if I could avoid, if I could use that instead of the lightning harbour sometimes with certain enemies, I could just switch out by having it in my inventory. Which would definitely be massive, because I did get a second Stardust. There's 2 of them in the game. One at the relatively early to midpoint in the game, the one which you get to the late, mid to late game section of the game. Which you can make the Lightbringer bow, which is one of the best bows in the game for radiant damage and being a long bow. But because I'm using a short bow, I'm willing to get the double shot. I can actually get more damage out of using that. But I will be getting some enchants on the Medusa bow eventually. That's for sure. So here I'm looking around to see if I have a primed wand somewhere that I could potentially use. I've got so many alchemy ingredients inside of this chest. It's beautiful. It seems we're near the end. I will start doing some crafting soon and making a bunch of enchanted items and stuff like that if I can. Stuff like poison arrows. I decided to set magic to check what other magical items I have inside of my inventory. But yeah, it is what it is. I start identifying all these items, and it's a bit of a fun time, of course, because they can't just have the quality of life where I can identify 5 items and it tells me it takes 15 minutes. No, I have to do them one by one. You should have to do multiple menus and see him do this over and over, slows down, which is annoying. Like, just let me select 5 items I want to identify and say, this will take you 50 minutes. Make it simple. It'd be so easy in quality in life. I don't know why they don't do that. We have a bunch of rings of poison resistance. Now, these are going to be important. This one is necrotic damage. These are going to be important because we are going to be dealing with some poisoned enemies, which are annoying. You know, to cut that in half and get resistance is going to be very nice. That's for sure. So here, I realised that I attuned to this item with Fana, but never equipped it on him because, you know, I'm a bit of a dum-dum sometimes and I completely forgot. I try and drag it on so you can equip it and use Identify instead, because I forget that I've got it toggled at the moment. So again, I start looking for everybody's inventory, seeing what they have, what I can identify, what I can't. And then I consider basically what item I am going to enchant and create basically once I'm finished identifying. I've still got to identify that shield to get the +1 AC on top of it. Because it's shield +1, which is beautiful. It's a 2 AC with a +1 on it. Can't complain. Yeah, and now I'll start going over what weapons I could potentially make or armor. I go for the Dragon Blade immediately. Like I said, it's a 1d6 recurring fire damage, which is huge. I have a look at the Scimitar Speed. It has a passive on it, which basically allows you to get 3 attacks in with Rogue. Because it's a light weapon, I get 2 attacks as a Rogue, and then obviously Scimitar Speed gives me that 3rd attack. So I contemplate on maybe making that instead of using a rapier on Wilmer for if I'm ever caught in a melee combat situation. I then start equipping everybody with some rings, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, I think that's enough covered pretty much for now. Eventually we'll be able to make a very strong bow in the future, but that's once we clear the next bit of content. I'm going to call it here though. If you have enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you very much guys for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day. Peace.